It is her second time running for mayor, and she says she will not become the perennial candidate. Omega Allen is on the ballot as independent and running on a shoestring budget. She hopes Jacksonville's first unitary election will help her effort. She spoke with On Your Side's Ken Amaro about the campaign and the crime problem.
The city's first unitary elections is upon us. In fact, the Supervisor of Elections Office is already mailing out the sample ballot.
Come on, puppy, leave it.
For Omega Allen, her campaign for mayor is not a walk in the park.
I got it.
I caught up with her at a dog park, playing with her German Shepherd, Thunder. How is the campaign going?
It's going well.
Ballotpedia shows Allen recently experienced a bump in the polls, albeit small.
I'm gaining momentum. I'm talking to people, getting out, hearing what the people have to say.
She's also behind in the fundraising, as you can see in this chart, but doesn't seem discouraged.
All of my money has come from individuals that trust me, believe in me.
Allen has a PhD in public administration, and she is a licensed general contractor. She says she chose to run as an independent to be free of party politics.
You know, I believe that the political parties have failed us over the years, over the decades.
It is her second attempt. The Jacksonville native spoke about blight and crime. Do we need more police officers? Do we need more technology? Do we need...
I don't believe we need more police officers. I think we need a different quality of policing.
She believes in community policing and economic development as ways to combat crime. Allen knows her campaign is like climbing a mountain, but says she's climbing it.
I wouldn't be in it if I didn't think I could win it.
In a unitary election, that means Democrats can vote for Republicans, Republicans can vote for Democrats. In this case, she's no party affiliation. She's hoping that she'll get some of those votes to make a difference. Ken Amaro, First Coast News, On Your Side.